All right. Good morning, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving to you. This is Dion, your 49ers reporter, back with you here. So I did tell y'all that I was going to go ahead and expand the content and change things up a little bit and definitely go on to, some other topics. So I feel as a 49er fan, it's just my duty to go ahead and address this whole Kaepernick getting back to the league situation. So the one thing I'm going to say is definitely hit the like button, please, and hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, so you can stay up to date on any and everything 49ers. And as I expand content, stay up to date with that. So it's very simple, guys. Colin Kaepernick will never play in the league again, ever, period. And the reason I say this is because it's not that I don't want him to play in the league, but you can't antagonize the people you want to work for and then expect them to hire you. Now, was things fair as it pertains to how they did things? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. And in no way, shape, or form am I condoning, what was done to him. They basically called his representatives, gave them a 2-hour window. Hey, take it or leave it. You either can come in and do this workout on Saturday or you don't. We're going to give you the receivers. We're going to give you the facility. You can't have any media. We will be the ones filming. There will be 22 to 25 teams there. We will go ahead and give the film out to the rest of the teams that weren't able to make it. All of these things happen in a matter of probably 3 to 4 hours. And they only gave them 2 hours to accept. Oh, yeah, by the way, you got to sign a waiver, which was not standard. They modified it. And they modified it on purpose. This, to me, was the NFL just trying to save face, man. They saying basically, look, we extended our hand. He didn't want to take it. You can't say it's our fault. And in that legal agreement, what they're stating was they twisted it basically to say, if you don't get a job, you can't sue us. You can't say it's our fault, this, that, and the third. So basically, this all supposedly started because there were at least 2 teams that were interested in signing him, but they didn't want to bring him in on their own because they felt like they didn't want to deal with the media firestorm. Here's the thing, man. Is Colin Kaepernick better than half these quarterbacks in the league? Hell yes. The dude has a better playoff record than some of the quarterbacks that have been to the playoffs recently. The guys went to a Super Bowl. He went to 2 straight NFC championships. Like, this has nothing to do with his resume. This has everything to do with the fact that that man kneeled because he was standing up for social injustice in this country. And what people should realize is they should respect that because it's a freedom of speech, right? And there's nothing wrong. He didn't break any laws. He didn't break any rules. He didn't do anything incorrectly. And people who dislike it, I understand it. I've dialogued with a lot of people and spoken with so many different people from both sides of the spectrum as it pertains to, him winding up in that situation. Was it right for them to basically, whiteball him from the league? No, it wasn't. Because they went ahead and they just bypassed his talent and they basically said, nah, this ain't going to work. And that's the thing. It's so hard because you can liken it to an extent to Antonio Brown's situation. Antonio Brown's so busy putting his foot in his mouth and being stupid in all his antics that his great play on the field gets overshadowed. Nobody wants to bring that shit in their locker room. Period, point blank. And I'm speaking about Antonio Brown only. But to be honest with you, when it comes to Colin, the reason that Colin ain't gonna get no job, and I'll tell you this, and I'm gonna tell you right now, don't try to test my blackness because I'm black. Period. Okay, I've been through more than enough. I grew up in Los Angeles, California, and I grew up in the rough times, not this little cupcake shit that y'all deal with now. I grew up in the hard part of the streets. I grew up in the 80s and in the 90s. That's where I had to go ahead and hone myself and become a man. So don't ever try to test me about anything that I say in this video because believe you me, you have no idea who I am. You don't know my struggle. You don't know where I come from. You don't know what I've been through. But I'm just going to give y'all the real and I'm going to be straight with you about this. You don't poke the bear and then expect the bear not to either smack you in the face or bite your fucking head off. Period, point blank. He held his end. The issue that I have, and I'm starting to understand where Stephen A. Smith is coming from to an extent. Because everybody, T.O. just tested his blackness right on screen. And I'm pretty sure after he got off screen with T.O., he had a hell of a conversation with him. Because T.O. straight up said it. He was like, Max seems blacker than you. But that's because Max is rolling with the process. Now, do I believe that, Kaepernick should have signed that waiver? Hell no. Do I believe that he should have succumbed to the pressure that the NFL gave to him? Not by any stretch of the imagination. But what you do is you figure out a way to flip this shit. You don't do something like what he did and then think that it's going to work for you, because it doesn't. He told all those people about his moving of the workout and where he was moving it to 2 hours ahead of time. These teams came out, 22 out of 22 to 25 teams came out to see you go ahead and practice and be able to speak with you and talk with you. And you're going to tell them 2 hours ahead of time? They didn't want to fuck with you in the first place. They was doing that as a courtesy. They probably did that because, you know what I'm saying, Goodell was probably saying, hey, look, man, look, y'all gonna do this. We got to save this face. And did Jay-Z probably have something to do with that? I'm 100% sure he did. Hell yeah, he did. And people who were sitting up there, you know, telling him he was wrong for sitting with them and all that other stuff, I'm going to tell you a line that Jay-Z used in one of his songs. And this is the reason why y'all ain't on that level. You got to open your mind and expand your brain beyond that little box that you have. I'll show you how to move in a room full of vultures. Those white dudes in there with all that money are vultures. Jay-Z is telling you, I can navigate that scene and not become a corpse for them to feast on. Use your head, man. You get in there and you do that and then magically Cap get a workout. Come on now. The NFL wouldn't think about that shit. Jay-Z was telling them the smart thing to do. Now, were his intentions for it to work out like that? Probably not. But at the end of the day, he was afforded the luxury of having that workout given to him. And yes, the parameters to work around were horrible. That's just not fair to him. Why couldn't he have his own crew? Why couldn't he bring his own receivers? The NFL could have wavered on that. They could have. They really could have. There was no reason that they should have been sitting there going, oh, no, we're not going to go ahead and waver on that bullshit. No, not at all. Because, yes, the video can be manipulated. You can put it in there and make him look like he's rusty, like he sucked or something like that. So I get where Cap was coming from. But to move it at the last minute and tell everybody at the last minute and then to move it 50 fucking miles away, you're not making these people happy, man. And I can tell you right now, the thing about it is the NFL is almost like a right to work league. They can fire you if they want to, and they can keep you if they want to. Your talent means shit to them. It's a what have you done for me lately league, and if you don't perform, they can cut you. They have rights to cut you. They only owe you the guaranteed money or certain things that are put into your contract. That's it. They don't have to employ you. They don't. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like having a job, you know, like there's a players union, there's all those things. And then you just filed a suit with them and had a settlement. You know, but the one thing that I can tell you right now, people, is that the reason I say he'll never work in the league again is because he doesn't do the things that are going to afford him that luxury. And people don't get that, man. Like, you have to think about this, you have to understand it, and you have to be smart about it when it comes down to it, because you can't yourself, you know, go into a league that's run by a bunch of white billionaires and know that all they care about is their bottom line. That's what they want, their bottom line. Their bottom line is all that they're worried about at the end of the day. And if you can't help them meet their bottom line, then truthfully, they don't care. You know, and if you're fucking with their bottom line, that means you're fucking with their money. And believe you me, if you are a businessman, you don't want anybody fucking with your money at all. Because if people mess with your money and people mess with your bottom line, you know the first thing you do? You get rid of them. Because you don't want them there. If you're messing up stuff and you're not good for business, I can't employ you. You know why? Because you're not good for my customer. My customer has to come in and want to spend their money. And if you're doing something that's going to make my customer say, I'm not going to spend my money here, then why am I going to employ you? I mean, technically, from a logical standpoint, anybody with a good business mind and a brain in their head is going to see that from that standpoint. You know what I'm saying? That's like the league being flipped and there being, you know what I'm saying, a white player that decided he was going to go on a white power rant. And then, you know, most of the patrons are black. And black people are telling you straight up, hey, yo, you keep, you know, you let this dude, you let this dude in here and he keep putting his little, you know, white power crap up. We ain't coming to the game. We ain't paying no money. Empty stands don't net you any cash. Winning nets you cash. You have angry fans that don't want to spend money, that don't want to come see your team play. You got to do what's best for the team. And then the other players on the team, they could get pissed off too. So I say all this to make a point that he did that at the last minute. 6 teams showed up. I believe the Chiefs, the Lions, and there were a couple other teams. I don't remember the exact teams that showed up. And they watched him work out. Now, the one thing that he did at the end of the workout was made a statement and rolled the fuck out. Through all this, Colin Kaepernick hasn't said much of nothing. He's the main focus of all of this talk. But he ain't said nothing. Nothing to anyone. You've never seen him hold a press conference. Stephen A. Smith has given him the opportunity to go on First Take and have that whole 2 hours dedicated to him. Did the same for Eric Reed. But what kills me is neither one of y'all are doing nothing. You hear Eric Reed, you know when you hear Eric Reed say something? After a game. You don't see him interviewing, you don't see him doing nothing. Neither one of them are taking the opportunity to come out and speak and say anything and state their case. Like, you have too many openings, you have too many media outlets that are willing to speak with you, that want to talk to you. The best thing you can do is open your mouth, state your case, and stick to it no matter where you go or who you talk to. And to be honest with you, man, period, point blank, bro, that was his last shot to get into the NFL. And now he doesn't have one. Was it right for them to do what they did? Hell no. Should he have signed that waiver? Hell no. Is he going to get back into the league? Hell no. Is it right? No. Is it reality? Yes. And the quicker people come to that, that come to grips with that reality, the easier it's going to be for them to understand it. I'm going to tell you right now, the NFL ain't finna bow to him. He's going to have to bend in some way, shape, or form to their will and make them feel comfortable about what he did, and at least give them the comfort of saying it. Because when he first started getting interviews, a couple years ago, or he was talking to a few different teams, the first thing that the teams were asking him is are you going to kneel? He would never answer it with a straight answer. So if you can't even just say, nah, man, look, I'm done with that. Look, I made my protest. Now it's time for action. I'm focused on the action. I'm trying to get, better things going for the inner city communities, trying to make sure that we stop the killings, all that other stuff. Like, I'm focused on the action part. The kneeling thing was just, for, basically to kick it off. I'm done with that. If he could have said that, he'd have been fine. But you don't ever want to answer the question. And I'm sorry, man. I'm starting to be convinced that Stephen A. is right. He wants to be a martyr rather than an NFL player. If you really wanted to work in the NFL, now, once again, like I said, his talent is not to be questioned. Is he better than most of the? Yeah, way better than at least a good, I'd say about 40 to 45% of these quarterbacks in the league right now that are starting. You got some backups starting. And they ain't half as good as Cap. They don't have his athletic ability. They don't have his throwing power. They don't have the resume. None of that. But the one thing that they have is they didn't kneel. Is it unfair that this is happening to this man? Yes. Did he handle it correctly? Not by any stretch of the imagination. The smartest thing you can do to your enemy, if you are trying to get them to give you something, is to figure out a way to do it. You have to be smart. You got to be sneaky. You got to undermine the intelligence of your enemy so that you can win the war. Don't be dumb and give them every reason not to fuck with you. That's stupid. Okay, I don't like what they're doing. I don't like this. I don't like that. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not even going to allow my lawyers to really speak or say much of nothing, But, hey, 2 hours before, things are supposed to pop off. Hey, I'm moving 50 miles down the road, and it's going to be at this school. Show up if you want. And then at the end of it go, I've been ready. I'm ready. What I'm saying? Stop running. Stop hiding. Yeah, y'all going to hire me or it's going to be problems. You've already sued them. I'm 100% sure in that suit that you filed, they definitely made sure they put some language in there to state you can't do it again. Like, come on, man. Learn how to play the game, bro. You got to figure it out. The easiest thing that he could have done would have been simply to go there, say, I'm not going to practice because it's not favorable for me. But I am willing to speak to the teams. I am willing to interview and sit down with you guys and talk about things, at least to be able to do that much. I am going to go ahead and practice at a different facility. And he could have said this way ahead of time. If he had this plan in his head, he should have said this a long time ago. He should have figured everything out once they didn't want to budge on the waiver and they didn't want to budge on the receivers and the media and everything that he wanted. He should have turned around and told those teams, I will be there just to interview. I will work out at a different place and I will send you guys a workout tape to show you that I'm still in shape and that I'm still ready to go. You can see from a physical standpoint, I'm ready, I've been ready, and I'm just asking for an opportunity. And then you can get it. If you get in there and you start winning, you start doing the things, you start making noise, it's easier for you to be able to undermine the system when you're in, not when you're on the outside looking in. That's the stupid thing. When you're on the outside looking in, you're going to antagonize and try to piss all these people off. Do you really think you're going to get anything out of them? No. I can't go to my job and think, okay, I'm going to piss off everybody in there and think that they're still going to want me there. No. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you the truth about it. People will find a way to fire you. People will look for the smallest things. They will find some kind of procedural way to get you out of there. You are not even in the league and you already continually are poking the bear and telling them that they're wrong and that they better give you a job and that you have to do this and y'all better stop running and all this. You can't go in, you're not going in there punking some people, a billionaire. They don't care about that. They'll laugh at what you said. It's a joke to them. This means nothing. They ain't worried about that. So to Stephen A. Smith, man, I applaud you for your position and everything. Do I think that, you could have said things better to make people understand where you were coming from? Yes. But there was a lot of the time basically where it seemed like you were just siding with the NFL and saying, hey, sign your rights away, sign your life away, just shut up and play. There were a lot of times that that's what was implied in the words that you were saying, even though that's not what you meant. And I get it. I understand it, brother. I do. I understand where you're coming from. But the one thing I can say is right now, there's two people in this world that look really stupid, and that's Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed. Y'all look like chumps because y'all ain't went on that show and said a damn thing. He's giving you a national stage where you can go and express how you feel and what's going on and talk to the people and everything. To me, it looks stupid on Colin Kaepernick's part because you don't do it. You say nothing. You drop little tweets and little quotes here and there, but you never sit down. You don't interview people. You don't do any of that, man. You do your work in the community. I see you doing that. So we already know that you're an activist, so we appreciate that. But can you sit down, express yourself, express your thoughts on a national stage and do it the right way? Give people a reason to want to fuck with you. Don't give people a reason to not want to talk to you. Other than that, man, it is what it is. I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you, I'm going to end this video by saying this. He will never play in the NFL again. And if he does, it will be a freak of nature shot. The reason being is because he himself does not know how. You got to know how to do business. And sometimes, unfortunately, in business, you got to sacrifice a few things, especially sometimes even just, the integrity, just to be able to get where you need to go. You get into the system and get into your enemy's backyard, and then you destroy things from within. You don't stand on the outside looking in trying to figure out how to do it, especially in this type of situation, because they don't have to let you in. They don't got to give you a job. They don't. Your talent says that you should get a job, but that doesn't mean they're going to give it to you. At the end of the day, people, you won't see Cap in the NFL ever again. And if he wants to play, he's going to have to play the game the way it needs to be played. He may have to sit down with Jay-Z and try to broker another type of deal. But I'm just being 100 with you, man. He ain't never going to play in the NFL again. He don't know how to play the game correctly. He too busy trying to be an activist and trying to pull like some stuff from like back in the day. It don't work like that. Learn how to play the business game and be smart about it. Get yourself in there and work from within to be able to, get what you want. Other than that, man, y'all have a blessed day. Happy Thanksgiving.